I'm here on the laser performance stand with Shaun Priestley from SailLaser Lake Garda, and Shaun's going to talk to us about some top tips for laser sailors. Hi Shaun.
Hi.
First of all, can you give us some top tips if you're a complete beginner and you've never even been sailing before?
Yeah, firstly I'd suggest finding a good club with other lasers around, because sailing against other people can help raise your performance as you go. And then contacting a laser dealer, picking up a boat and getting in with the guys there to start racing as soon as you can, really.
And what about if you've already got a laser, you're already sailing, but you're finding yourself at the back of the fleet constantly? Have you got any sort of top tips for those guys?
So the first thing you'll notice is the laser's actually really easy to sail. But when you go into a race environment and you're under a little bit of pressure, you often get twisted and tangled in the ropes, the lines, the mainsheet. So one of the tips would be not to leave the mainsheet coiled up in a small bunch in the boat when you finish your sailing, because then the rope gets used to being all sort of twisted and bent, and that can lead to it knotting and getting caught in the block. So actually, to give yourself quite long coils when you leave the mainsheet and you're finished with it at the end of the day, that way it shouldn't get twisted when you go sailing.
Fantastic, thank you. And what about if you're quite an experienced sailor in the laser and you're wanting to push for first place? Have you got any tips for those guys?
Well, with time on the water is probably the main thing. So to get out and to practice your techniques in a more pressured environment, to test that you can still do anything with other boats around. That could be starting, tacking, jibing, going around the marks. Just making sure you can do it under pressure would mean that it's ready for the racing environment. So getting out and training as much as you can really with other boats will help improve that.
So Shaun, you mentioned tacking and jibing there.
Yeah.
Let's look more specifically at jibing. Have you got any advice for that?
I mean, a lot of people are often worried about jibing in strong conditions. The key thing there is to keep your head, keep the speed up, because the faster the boat's going, the lighter the sail is, and you'll find jibing quite easy. The next difficult time to jibe is when it's light, and training and really working at using the roll of the boat to steer through the jibe can help, and actually using the hiking strap to roll the boat towards you. You can start to get a feeling for that quite soon.
So when you're about to jibe, actually lean further out and that'll help you?
Pretty much, yeah. As you're about to pull the main sheet to bring the sail across, just before you do that pull, to heel the boat towards you to help it steer through the jibe, but also you've then got a nice roll on the exit, and you maintain your speed through the jibe.
And what about tacking?
Tacking, I would say just to know the differences in the different conditions. So, the lighter the wind, to steer smoothly through the tack, because that's all a nice upwind gain. And then the stronger the wind and the bigger the sea state, to understand where to tack in between waves or on the top of the wave to ensure you don't kill your boat speed.
Great, thank you Shaun. And one last tip for everybody.
One last tip, well, if we look at the boat, as we're at the back with the traveller, there's quite a common mistake where people get the traveller setting wrong, and that leads to the blocks riding up. If the blocks ride up, like up here, the sail can often stall. So making sure that when you tie the knot on the traveller, you don't just tie one bowline and pull the rope through, but actually you tie a bowline in one side and then hitch the other side through that loop. That way you can increase the tension and make sure that the traveller's not going to slacken off while you're sailing.
Great, thank you so much Shaun.